Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. On today's tutorial, I will demonstrate how to draft, cut and sew a drop shoulder sleeve blouse. Hi, my name is Ayo and welcome to 011 Clothings Tutorials. On this channel, I upload DIYs, pattern drafting and sewing tutorials. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly do so. And do not forget to turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. So now, let's get right into the tutorial. Thank you! So I have here my Dartless basic bodice pattern. The link to the tutorial on how to draft this will be above and in the description box below. I have altered the basic necklines to a boat or a bateau neckline. I use the same neckline dimension for the front and the back. The neck depth is 3.5 inches and the shoulders is just 1.5 inches wide. The shaded part is no longer part of the pattern. To create the drop shoulder sleeve on the back pattern, I will measure and mark half an inch upwards at the shoulder tip, like this. I will now draw a broken line from the neck point that passes through the half an inch point that I marked above the shoulder tip. I will now connect the shoulder tip to the broken line like this. From the shoulder tip point on the broken line, I will measure and mark 4 inches on the broken line like this. You can use any value between 2 to 4 inches. From the 4-inch point, I will come down by 2 inches like this. I will now connect these 2 points together using a French curve like this. From the base of the armhole curve, I will come down by 1 inch. I will now connect these 2 points together with my French curve like this. This is the front pattern. I will now go ahead and repeat the exact same thing that I did on the back pattern on the front pattern as well. So this is what the front and the back drop shoulder sleeve look like. I will now go ahead and cut out the back and the front patterns like this. I will cut the front pattern on fold on my fabric. Next, I will draft the facing for the neckline and the armhole. From the base of the front and the back armhole curves, I will come down by 2 inches. I will measure and mark 4 inches below the front and the back necklines at the center back and also at the center front. I will now connect these points together with my curve like this. I will now trace out the front and the back facing on this new pattern paper. I will pin the front pattern in place first. I will now trace it out using a tracing wheel, like this. I will make the tracing bolder using a marker pen and a French curve like this. I will now cut it out. I will do the same thing for the back pattern as well. So these are all the pattern pieces needed to make the drop shoulder sleeve blouse. I have here about 1.5 yards of Mikado silk fabric. I'm going to cut out my pattern pieces on this fabric. So now I have pinned the front pattern in place along the folded edge of the fabric. Since the front piece will be cut on fold, I use half-inch seam allowance all around the pattern except for the side seam and the hem where I use 1 inch seam allowance. I will now go ahead and cut it out like this. This is the back pattern and I've pinned it in place on the fabric, and the fabric has been folded into 2 layers. I use half-inch seam allowance at the neckline, at the shoulders and also at the armhole, 1 inch as the side seam allowance and 1 inch at the hem. I will now go ahead and cut out the fabric like this. This is the front facing and it has been pinned along the folded edge of the fabric. I use half-inch seam allowance at the neckline, shoulders and armhole, half-inch seam allowance at the hem and 1 inch side seam allowance. I will now go ahead and cut it out like this. I will also go ahead and cut out the back facing like this. These are the front and the back pieces. I will now place the 2 back pieces on top of the front piece like this, right side to right side. I will pin the shoulders in place like this. Then I will take it to my sewing machine and I will stitch it in place using half-inch sewing allowance. These are the front and the back facing pieces. Because this fabric is thick, I did not interface the facing pieces on the wrong side. I will now place the 2 back pieces on top of the front piece like this, right side to right side. I will pin the shoulders in place. After doing this, I will take it to my sewing machine and I will stitch it in place using half-inch sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see, and I've pressed open the seam allowance. I have also done the same thing for the facing fabric as well. I have overlocked all the raw edges, including the hem of the facing pieces. I will now go ahead and fix this invisible zip to the center back of the blouse. So now that has been done, as you can see, I will open up the zip like this. I will now place the facing on top of it like this, right side to right side. I will pin the necklines in place, making sure that the shoulder seam lines on the facing and on the main fabric, on the main bodice line and match up with each other. After pinning, I will stitch it in place using half-handing sewing allowance. And after sewing the neckline in place, I will now go ahead and sew the armholes in place using half-handing sewing allowance. I will also hem the lower part of the blouse. And this is the final look of the drop shoulder blouse. If you find this video helpful, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, drop a comment down below, share this video with your friends who are interested in sewing, and do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. See you in my next tutorial. Bye, and thank you so much for watching.